Today, I want to talk about the hidden cost of being easy to work with. When somebody says, she's so easy to work with, what is that really communicating? Is it she's easy to work with, or is that she says yes to everything you ask her? Is she easy to work with, or is she a pushover? Is she easy to work with, or is it just she just doesn't have boundaries? Therefore, you're going to get what you want from this person. Let me give you a shorthand version of my thinking. The opposite of easy to work with isn't difficult. The opposite of being easy to work with is being discerning. The opposite of easy to work with is not difficult. It's intentional. So the question is, when you say yes to somebody and yes to what they're asking you, are you sure you've done the ROI for yourself? Are you sure you've done the analysis of what you now have to say no to? If you said yes to that coworker to help them with a project that had nothing to do with you, does that mean that you have to stay late to work on it? And does that mean that you miss Junior's baseball game or little Junior's ballet practice recital or your workout that you promised yourself that you would do because you're on a new routine and you're doing well and you're feeling good, and yet you said yes to this thing? Like, some of my guests have talked about some of this, right? We had Mary Lou Quinlan, was episode 81, and she talked about intentionality and communicating what was really important. Emily Claire Hughes, and in episode 83, talked about betting on herself and communicating and being very clear what she would and would not do and having boundaries. And then most recently, episode 112, Kirsten Sharrow talked about intentionality and listening to your gut and being a little bit more intuitive and connected to what we say and what we do. And I think that's really important, because I think the whole premise of being easy to work with, it's like, do I not have boundaries? Did I say yes to something I should have said no to? Is this important to me, or am I trying to people please? See, again, the lens of saying yes means that something's got to give. We only have 24 hours in the day. We only have 7 days in the week, et cetera, et cetera. Therefore, when you put more rocks in the bowl, you have less space for the sand. But if you put sand in first, then you have no space for the rocks. And the rocks are the important things. You've heard this analogy before, remember? You don't put sand in the big vase first. You put in the big rocks, which are the important things in your life, the priorities, the family, the friends, the building your life, building your wealth, building your intentionality, building your routine such that it serves you. And then you put in the little bitty rocks and pebbles, and then you put in the sand. The sand is the nice to haves. But if you have too many rocks, you have less room for sand, right? But if you put the sand in first, you have a whole bunch of little things to do. I equate it to people that tell me, I'm so busy. Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're in constant motion all the time? You're moving around, all assholes and elbows? Like, what is happening? You're busy. That doesn't mean anything. Are you accomplishing anything? Busy does not equate accomplishment. I've heard Steve say that all the time, actually. So, getting back to easy to work with, really challenge yourself as to what you want your narrative to be. Now, I've told you in my book that I was the fixer for many years. That started at the age of 5 when I was interpreting for my parents who couldn't speak English and I could, right? So this notion of fixing or being on the spot and having it handled, that has a cost. That has a cost to your health and your ability to say yes to the things that give you joy, because you have a I have to do this. Well, maybe you don't have to do this. Maybe you are just saying yes to it because there's another driver. There's another driver that is causing you to say yes to something. There's another driver that is causing you to say, I want to be easy to work with. I don't want to make waves. I don't want to be difficult. Well, you're not being difficult. You're being discerning. Are you choosing properly for your own context, your own life, your own career? Fill in the blanks. Because when you're easy to work with, there's a whole underlying scenario underneath it that is relevant to the conversation that you may not be thinking about. And I want you to think about it. It's the ROI of saying yes. It's the ROI or the lack of ROI of not having boundaries, not being discerning, not being intentional. Be careful. Being easy to work with is not possibly the best thing for you. You have to say, is this the right engagement? Is this the right project? Is this the right coworker that I want to support? Is this coworker going to show up for me when I need help? Is this project going to lead me to my next promotion? Is this nice to have going to give me joy? If it gives you joy, by all means. If it gives you joy, make an exception. If it gives you joy, be comfortable making the decision to say yes because it gives you joy. But if it gives you angst and it gives you pause, you have to follow your gut. You have to say, oh, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't really mission critical for me. Maybe I shouldn't say yes to that. It's a nice to have. It's a piece of sand. It's a bunch of sand. What rocks won't fit in my jar if I put the sand in first? This is where women get sideways. We seem to think that we have an infinite amount of time, energy, effort, treasures, talents, time, all of it. We don't. We are maybe superhuman, but we're not going to defy nature. We will not create more time in the day. We will not create more days in the year. We will not. So therefore, I want you to reverse engineer being easy to work with and have it be connected in your head that easy to work with may or may not serve you in this moment or ever. I'm not saying be difficult to work with. I just think that you need to have people respect you for the subject matter expert that you are and be okay when you say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that, or I'm committed. I apologize. I'm sorry, I can't do that, or I can't make that, or I can't attend that, or I won't be able to make it. No is a full sentence. You've heard it from Robin Arson on Peloton. You've heard it from probably Oprah. You've heard it from a bunch of people. So this is not a new thought, but no is a full sentence. So I really encourage you this year, if it hasn't hit your consciousness, have it be an intentional year for yourself. Have it be that you are going to be discerning about the yeses, the nos, the maybes, and is she easy to work with or is she great to work with? If she's great to work with, that means that, you show up when you really you have something to add, not because somebody asked you to, guilted you into it, made you feel bad about it. You wanted to please somebody. Did you have FOMO? Did you have like a little sense of, but if I don't do this, people are going to think? You have to stop making decisions based on what you think people are going to think. Okay. That's a double thinking that is not going to serve you ever. If you make decisions based on what you think people are going to think about you, you've already lost. I'm serious. If you make decisions based on what you think people are going to think about you, you got an issue. You have to be concerned about your own self and what serves you, your family, your objectives, your finances, your life, your wealth, your health, your all the things that are important to a human to be happy, well-adjusted, healthy, engaged, joyful. Fill in all of the wonderful words that you want to lean into this year, next year, right now. What is it? I've told you my words. I'm grateful, intentional, and bold. I'm intentional about I try to be intentional about everything I do. I'm grateful for all the things that I have and been able to accomplish that are in my life. Grateful for that. Wake up in the morning with gratitude, go to sleep at night, and remind myself of the three things that went really well that day and that I am super grateful for. And bold enough to tell you what is for me, not what you want to hear. So if a client wants somebody to tell them what they want to hear, that is not good for them, that is not appropriate or strategic for them, they're not going to hear those words from me. So I am bold enough to say and to commit to what is right for that client and for my business and for my brand and for my reputation. So I invite you to think about not she's easy to work with, but she's great to work with because fill in the blanks. She's really good at her job. She's super smart. Anytime she's in a meeting, she adds value. That doesn't mean being easy to work with, because being easy to work with, well, I've already told you. That might be code for a whole bunch of things you don't want to associate yourself with. So that's the first thing. Second thing is boundaries. Third thing is being authentic to yourself and what you stand for. And then letting your, what is it? Letting your feet do the talking. So where you put your energy is where you're going to make an impact. So make an impact and focus your energies where you're going to get the best ROI. Remember, the opposite of being easy to work with is not being difficult. It's being discerning. Make it a great day. Thanks for being here. And please give us a thumbs up, share it, and review the episode if you liked it. Bye.